Now, the vernal equinox is an exciting time as it marks the first day of spring, with its promise of lighter nights, warmer weather and new life. Now, the spring equinox is also called Ostara, which is the modern name for an ancient festival named after the Germanic goddess of spring and dawn of the same name. And in Druidry, this time is called awakens. Now, whatever you choose to call it, it's an important transition time, and one that we can observe simply or with more ritual. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you the symbolism and the practices and rituals that you can mark the coming of spring. Now, in the Northern Hemisphere where I live, the spring equinox in 2021 takes place on March 20th. And on this day, the balance between darkness and light are equal, with light increasing thereafter until the summer solstice, which is 3 months later. Now, in Druidry, the rite of spring is 3 festivals, so in bulk, which we observe in February, awakens in March, and Beltane in May. And this trinity is so important, the shamrock, trefoil or triquetra is worn. And it's thought that ancient Druid roots and the importance of the shamrock is behind the origins of this being the national Irish emblem. And it's rather ironic that it's now the symbol for the modern day celebration of St. Patrick's Day, given that he is said to have driven out the Druids. Now, many believe that the origins of the Christian festival Easter come from the ancient roots of our ancestors and their customs and practices based on their relationship with the land. And you really can't fail to see some of the similarities with the symbols and the rituals between the two. Now, the spring equinox is a time of anticipation and joy. We're emerging from a cold, hard winter and we're welcoming back the sun to the land. It signals a time to plant seeds and be hopeful that we'll be able to reap the rewards in the autumn. Now, the aspects of the spring equinox are balance, new beginnings and promise. And the symbols typically associated with this time of the year are eggs, which are often painted in spring colours, spring flowers like daffodils, primroses, violets, crocuses, celandine, catkins and pussy willow. And in Victoria, Canada, where I live, you can't fail to notice the abundance of cherry blossoms, which are also a wonderful reminder of the season. Now, another symbol of the spring equinox is the hare. Now, Ostara mythology tells us that she's responsible for bringing spring to our lands. However, one year, she was late bringing the spring because she'd found a dying bird in the snow, bringing it back to life as a white hare, and she named it Lepus. Now, to honour the hare's original bird form, Ostara was said to have given the hare the power to lay eggs one day a year. And once a year, the hare was permitted to give away its eggs to those that were attending the Ostara spring festivals. So therefore, the hare has become a symbol of rebirth and renewal, beyond the mundane sphere of possibility. Ostara not only brought a dying animal back to life, she also gave it a new form. And these are 2 very powerful magical acts. And perhaps this is why hares are said to be the animal of choice for witches, as a familiar and as a form to shapeshift into. And probably one of the most famous accounts of that on record to this day was of a Scottish witch in the 17th century. Now, her name was Isabel Gowdy, and she openly declared herself able to shapeshift into the form of a hare. And hare symbolism doesn't stop there. Hare and the Trinity are also inextricably linked. And you'll find a circular motif of 3 hares appearing all over the world in sacred sites, from the Middle East to churches in the UK. It seems that this is a strong symbol for many religions and for many cultures. Now, that's a fascinating story in of itself, and it probably warrants a separate video. But back to the spring equinox. So here are some simple ways that you can celebrate and mark this time of the year. So think about setting up an Ostara altar. You can use spring flowers, decorated eggs in spring colours, altar cloths in yellow, pink or green, and maybe put crystals of those colours on. Yellow calcite, rose quartz, green calcite, rainbow fluorite are all my favourites. Maybe add some beeswax candles to honour the sun, and maybe some statuary like chicks, hares, or even a goddess or two, particularly if the goddess statue has a pregnant belly. Now, as Ostara is about planting, you can also add some seeds or plant bulbs for your altar as well. And for balance, well, maybe you can place a couple of beach pebbles on top of each other, or use anything else that's a symbol for balance. Now, spring cleaning at this time of year is a really important ritual, and this includes outside as well as inside. So outside is a chance to clean up the debris from the winter. It's a chance to check in with the plants in your garden and maybe clean out some nesting boxes. And inside, well, alongside your usual clearing, clear the clutter, wash windows, windowsills and doors. And if you can use natural, eco-friendly cleaning products, that's all the better. And don't forget to do some energetic cleaning as well. Clean the energy of your home, the energy of your car, and your own energy field. Now, most people like to use dried herbs like sage, rosemary or lavender, but you can also use other things as well, like sound. If you've got a singing bowl, or maybe you've got a bell or a drum, you can even use your own voice. Set the intention to clear out the stale, stuck energy and to replace it with some positive energy. Open up your windows and doors to let out the energy, but also ask the universe to transmute it into something positive. Now, planting seeds is not just about the garden or the greenhouse. It also has a metaphorical meaning as well. The spring equinox is a wonderful time to really plan for the future and to plant the seeds. What do you want to achieve this year? What do you want to reap at the end of the year? And you can do a little magic spell, maybe taking some seeds, speaking your intention into them, and that before you plant them. And as you nurture them, as you feed them, and as you water them, so too do you nurture, feed and water your plants. It's a powerful magical spell. Try your hand at egg decorating. It's a wonderful thing to do with the family. And you can buy egg decorating kits from the dollar store, but you can also use more natural dyes as well. So beetroot juice, onion skins, red cabbage are really good examples. You can add an intention by words with crayon on the egg before you dye it, and you'll find those words magically appear. And as this time of year symbolises balance, it's also a great opportunity to reflect on the balance that you have in your life. Maybe do some journaling. Maybe reflect on questions, what's the balance of work and pleasure I have? How much balance of joy do I have in my life? Maybe even what's the balance between my masculine and my feminine side? You can also use this time of year to reawaken yourself. Go out into the forest, find a place where you feel safe and where you won't be disturbed. Tap the earth 3 times. Now you can use your hand or your foot, or if you can find a stick like a staff, you can use that as well. Make a joyful noise to welcome the spring. Awaken Mother Earth and awaken yourself at the same time. Remember who you are. Awaken your mind and your body. Now don't forget to leave a gift for the earth, and remember, only natural things will do. Better still, think about planting something in her honour, or maybe feeding the animals and the birds. Another suggestion is to get up just before dawn on the morning of the equinox to welcome the sun in, and use the liminal space between the darkness and the light to pause, to reflect, to let go of what no longer serves you. And as the sun emerges, stand with your arms wide. Welcome. You might also want to say a few words of welcome. And as milk is one of the libations for Ostara, you might also want to sip on some milk as you enjoy the rising sun. Now, I promised you a ritual, and a lovely little ritual that you can do on the evening of the equinox is an awakening ritual. Now, you'll need a few candles to light. You can do this alone, or you can do it with family and friends. Now, we usually do this as the sun is setting. And depending on your practice, you can cast a circle. You can call in the elements before the ritual itself. But if these aren't part of your practice, don't worry, they're not essential. So gather your candles together, and you'll gather something to light the candles with, and take a moment or two just to set the intention and to bless them. Turn down the lights, create the mood. You don't want it totally dark, because you are going to need to be able to see to light the candles safely. And if you like to burn incense to create this ambience, you can do that as well. So before you start, take a few moments to ground and to center. Focus on your breath, close your eyes, really kind of get into that space. And when you're ready, you can say these words. Now, I have written them out in the description box below, and you can read them verbatim. You can use them as inspiration and write your own, or you can adapt them, whatever you want. Remember, use a big voice. At this time of balance, at this time of awakening of the land, I come to celebrate the vernal equinox. You can light the first candle. Now, if you're doing this with a group, you'll have a main candle, and then each group member will have their own candle. And each candle is lit from this main candle. And then you can say, the wheel of the year turns once more. The spring equinox arrives. Light and dark are equal, and the soil begins to change. The earth awakens from slumber, and new life springs once more. Now, at this point, you'll want to light all of the candles from this main candle. And as you go to each one, you can say these words. The sun draws ever closer, touching our skin with its rays. The sky fills with light and warmth. The sun warms the land beneath my feet, giving life to all it touches. These candle flames represent the sun, and they welcome it back to the land. Spring has come, and for this I'm thankful. The divine is present all around, in the coolness of the rain, in the buds of the flowers, in the fertile fields waiting to be planted, in the sky above, in the earth below. I give thanks. I am blessed. Welcome light and welcome spring. Now, you can end the ritual here if you'd like to, but I enjoy a little candle gazing, and all you need to do for that is to gaze at the candle to seek insight and knowledge. Now, the candle flame should be kind of level with your eyes. Take a few deep breaths to kind of relax and just get yourself into it. Close your eyes and watch your breath for a moment or two before you open your eyes and gaze at the flame. Now, keep your vision focused and steady on the flame without blinking for as long as you can, or for as long as it feels comfortable. And try and avoid any kind of body movement. Keep your eyes focused on the flame, not on the candle itself or the wick. Really look at the flame and let go of any thoughts that bubble up. Bring your awareness back to the flame. And when you can no longer gaze at the candle comfortably, close your eyes. And you may be able to still see the flame. Bring that image to your third eye. That's the space between your eyebrows. Hold your concentration. And when you lose the image of the flame, open your eyes again and repeat the process. You can do that a couple of times. And when I've finished, I like to journal, as I find that I'm really connected to my higher self, so I can download wisdom and kind of tap in very successfully. And don't forget, if you cast a circle, you'll want to devoke it, and if you've called in the elements, you'll want to release them. And give thanks for the process. So there you have it. There are some simple ways to mark the vernal equinox. and a lovely little ritual that you can do if you want to just add a little bit more magic to it. I hope that I've inspired you to connect in with the energy of the season. And if you have a practice that you follow at this time of the year, let me know. Let me know in the comments below, because I love to read those. And I deeply appreciate the time that you've taken to watch this video. I invite you to check out the other videos on my channel. And wherever you are in the world, just know that we are community. And I hope that you consider subscribing to the channel and maybe even spreading the word, sharing the video to people that you know would like something like this and would enjoy it. My goal is really to share my passion and my knowledge and to inspire you to live a more intuitive life. So ta-ta for now.